Are you guys ready? Look, as governments talk about what they must do. Listen, as their promises became untrue.
So the puppet show was written collectively by a larger community. The NC Climate Justice Summit facilitated the making of the puppet show. So they did a partnership with the Paper Hand Puppet Collective that does all kinds of puppet shows all over the country and maybe the world, partnering with different local communities that are working on initiatives having to do with justice. So they were really, really excited and happy to partner with NC Climate Justice Summit to create a show that were centered around people power and climate change.
Yeah, so Rooted in Community is a national network of organizations that work with young people, like high school aged people, and food work broadly defined. So some are focused on like growing food, some are focused on nutrition and health, some are focused on like food workers' rights. And the idea of the conference is to be a space where young people can come together, share the knowledge they have with one another, and to learn more about what community we're in, to sort of get a more in-depth understanding of like what's happening there and with their food system and how they can take that back to their home. And so they can influence the work that they're doing where they're from.
I'm a part of the Food Youth Initiative, or my group is Transplanting Tradition, and so we're hosting this event. Climate change is really important because we want the human race to strive and to live in a world where they don't have to put on a mask when they go outside. Like I've seen videos like in China where people have to put on masks because the air is so bad. And climate change, like the ice are melting, the sea level's rising, all that's really bad for our beautiful planet Earth.
One of the things that I hope that youth get out of the conference is really understanding that oftentimes frontlines people are youth, and so they're doing the work, but sometimes it's easy, or at least in my experience, it's easy to do the work or do work and not realize the type of impact that it's actually making on making change. And so these youth that just did this paper hand puppet show, or that are artists, or that are spoken word folks, or that are dancers, they may not understand, or we may not always understand the impact that we have on the world. So I think that one of the things I would love for youth to take from this, and also myself, is realizing that we all have power to make impacts on our communities and the world.
So my brother's girlfriend works here, and she invited us here. And when I got here, I thought I was boring, but it actually was really interesting.
We thought it was just like a conference thing.
Yeah.
And we found more, like friendships, bonds. It was more than we thought it was going to be.
It's nice being here.
I like how everybody just treats each other like family.
I got involved in 2007. I was working for an organization called Lots to Gardens up in Maine, in Lewiston, and I brought youth to the conference. That year was in Philadelphia, and so I brought 3 youth from Maine, and just sort of immediately was like, whoa, this conference is amazing for the young people, but also for me, as like I was a relatively like young adult doing this work, didn't have really like mentors or resources for like how to best be an adult support to young people who you're trying to like support their leadership and development. And I just felt like at that conference, for me, I was able to have all these resources and like mentors to be like, okay, like how do I, posture as an adult ally? And then for my young people, just seeing how much they opened up. 2 of them had never been on planes before. None of them had ever traveled away from their family before. So it was like a really big experience. And ever since then, I've been bringing youth to RIC and or involved in the planning.
Okay, so Center City Park we chose this location because it's very open, and we wanted people to feel that they could walk in and kind of like stumble upon this larger than life, show. Because that's what Rooted in Community is about. We don't want to be in a private space and having private conversations. We want this conversation to be loud and open and accessible to many different people. That's another reason why we wanted to do the Paper Hand Puppet show, because it's very accessible. And it's not just about, making a speech or writing some long essay that maybe not everyone can access, but, being able to have the visual stimulus and the physical stimulus and things like that.